A lot of people are interested in knowing what it is we actually do when we purport to academically study someone like Lady Gaga. What we do in our most recent study, conducted with Professor Laurie Burns of the University of Ottawa, is to try to tease out both the progressive and what we might call regressive aspects of Lady Gaga's cultural production. Because as we know, in the media, we tend to dwell on the things about Gaga that are the most radical. What we wanted to try to do was balance that with a slightly more analytical perspective on her work. On the progressive side, there's some great stuff around sexual orientation and gender politics. Where we found slightly more regressive representations were in those that related to issues of race and representations of the disabled body. In terms of representations of race, we were somewhat disappointed by the ways in which African Americans figured in her videos. In general, they tended to serve the white protagonist in a very literal way. So they were either butlers, chauffeurs, that sort of thing. So stock, stereotypical working class characters. Cultural critics in the United States and across North America have been criticizing these forms of representation for a long time. We found that disability functions more as a metaphor in her videos than it does as a commentary on the real lived experiences and the challenges that go along with being disabled. Lady Gaga, in the video Paparazzi, goes from being able-bodied to disabled to able-bodied once again. And the rise and fall of her ability status serves as a kind of broader metaphor for the rise and fall of her as an artist and a celebrity. We found that this was an opportunistic use of representations of disability. What is she up to now? She seems to be very interested in bringing performance art and high art into dialogue with pop art. She does this in a really self-conscious way that is quite uncommon in the sort of popular cultural world. It's ambitious and it is intellectually interesting. For those of us who do sort of cultural theories and cultural studies of the popular cultural world, she's an absolute sort of pot of gold because she gives us so much robust material to work with. One of the things that I think Lady Gaga arguably does better than anybody else right now is she tries to blur these boundaries between high art and low art, between technology and the human, between even the human and the animal, the human and the material. So she blurs these boundaries, and she does it in a very interesting way. It sort of forces us to reflect on what these boundaries actually mean and whether they're legitimate. She's doing very intellectually interesting things. I think that really we're headed for new stuff. Because that's what Gaga is all about. She is constantly in search of novelty. And she, to her credit, tries to do that in interesting and unprecedented ways. So we'll see.